Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Foreign investors are snapping up investment opportunities in South African mines in the form of shares in platinum miner Royal Bafokeng Platinum and a R3 billion investment from Finland's Ryhove. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creame is in the studio to tell us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
International investors continue to show confidence in South Africa as an international investment destination. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was interesting to see the take-up of shares and activities of Royal Bafokeng. You know, the international market in Europe and US definitely bought into that model, where there's full black control, but it's BEE with a difference. You know, this is 57% ownership plus management. So it's a new model that we haven't seen before. And also Ryhove, you know, coming out here, you think, well, they're listed in Helsinki, they're going to have their board meetings in Helsinki. They had the board meeting in Johannesburg. You know, that shows you how keen they are to get their investments expanded here. Ryhove, which is also on the London Stock Exchange, considering the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is a secondary listing, has already bought Mahali Alloys, and so the investment is about 3 billion, but you can see that they've got an appetite for a lot more. You know, they have a chrome mine in Turkey, but it's small compared to the chrome ore bodies here, and they're eyeing these, you know, voraciously. And they've got Chinese partners to come in with the building of the DC furnaces, so they're all set to go.
Now it looks like locals were also pretty keen to take shares in RB Plat.
Yeah, so, you know, they had to reserve 60% for locals because there was such a demand. They only allowed 40% of that private placement for international shareholders, foreign shareholders, and if they'd allowed 100% for foreigners, the foreigners would have taken up all 100. You know, that was the appetite. But of course, there was bustling from the local community who also wanted to get in on the act. And so we see a good mix of shareholding there of local and foreign, and also a good mix of long-term shareholders and shorter-term shareholders. So it's got quite a nice portfolio with the big names backing them.
Now, it would seem that they're not at all concerned, the foreigners, with calls for nationalisation from some political parties.
Yeah, well, that's what you can conclude, you know, that they say, oh, nationalisation, yes, and they quiz all the roadshow teams on, you know, nationalisation. They stand up in the roadshow and they say, well, look, you know, you've got nationalisation coming. Then they buy, you know. So it shows you that when it comes to the asset of being like the Royal Bafokeng asset being the 3 L's, you know, large, long-term, low cost, they dive in.
Now, finally, another South African mine that seems to be gaining international consideration is Orkney and Grootvlei. Yes. What's the story there?
Well, that's at the completely different end of the scale, you know. That's at a very unfortunate end of the scale. Here we see a deterioration of national patrimony. You know, we had the first snarl up with Pamodzi Gold's management that was totally undercapitalized and then went into liquidation. The only part of that enterprise that is actually now looking promising is the Free State side, President Steyn, and only because a big major gold mining company has bought that, Harmony Gold. So they're able to deal with it. But as far as Orkney gold mine is concerned in Grootvlei, we just go from one problem after the other. And we know that the Chinese have been in the wings for some time. But we can never get finality. It seems with the Chinese investors, they take so long, you know, to do their due diligence. And because of the state control often, you know, there's a lot of red tape and they don't want to make a mistake. But they have been looking at these two assets for a long time. So the liquidator believes, you know, that before the end of the year, the lead liquidator is convinced there's going to be some sort of finality on these two marathon deals that have just been going on and on. The tragedy is that the two mines are deteriorating as we speak. People aren't being paid. You know, the courts haven't actually ratified the changeover of ownership because you only own like Aurora Empowerment Systems, which has been in the news and is being attacked severely left, right and centre. You know, big names involved there, Zondwa Mandela and Kulabusi Zuma. They only take control when they pay for an asset. You only own an asset when you pay for it. The truth is, although people say, you know, Aurora owns this, they don't. You know, they haven't paid for it. And the deal that they had to go on the stock exchange is now changing. The framework is changing. The Swiss backing, one doesn't hear about it. And we see that the Chinese are now insisting that they operate these 2 gold mines. They don't want Aurora being involved. Nobody wants Aurora being involved in the operation. And so, you know, we've just got to wait and see. But it's so agonizing because every time you get a reply, it's not definitive. You know, the liquidators will say, well, we're expecting it in a few weeks. And then the few weeks become a few months. And you know, the few months become half a year. And we keep going on. And I think someone should put their foot down now. And because this is a national patrimony, I think the Department of Mineral Resources should say, hang on, guys, you know, when is this going to happen? And I think the last date that I heard that the courts would ratify the change in October. Well, October's come and gone. Now we're heading for Christmas, so heaven only knows what's going to happen there.
Well, at least besides that, there are other investments.
Good.
Thanks, Martin.
Yeah.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.